They call it the silent epidemic. After 40 years of bustling offices, family chaos, and constant noise, the silence of retirement can be deafening. Isolation isn't just a fleeting feeling, it's a thief. It actively steals your cognitive sharpness, compromises your heart health, and erodes your sense of purpose. Most people our age are told to just get a hobby to pass the time. But hobbies don't cure loneliness. Connection does. Welcome back to the Silver Compass. I'm Duke Marino. Today, we aren't just talking about the hardships of being alone. We are actively building a social compass. We are designing a framework to navigate out of the isolation and back into a life of shared meaning. We're moving away from the digital shallows of social media, where we are constantly connected but entirely alone, and stepping into a profound analog reconnection with the physical world. If you felt the walls getting a little closer lately, consider today's episode your map back to the tribe. Why does a digital like leave us feeling so hollow, while a brief 5-minute chat with a neighbor over a garden fence can lift our spirits for the entire afternoon? The answer lies in a beautiful biological phenomenon called social frequency. Human beings are wired for synchrony. In physics, when two oscillating bodies are placed near each other, they naturally sync up. Our brains do the same thing. When we sit face to face with another person, our neural pathways begin to mirror one another. We read the micro expressions, we absorb the vocal cadence, and without saying a single word, our internal frequencies begin to align. This real-world synchrony triggers a profound chemical shift inside your body. It releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone that acts as nature's most potent built-in antidepressant. It lowers cortisol, reduces blood pressure, and tells your nervous system that it is safe. But here is the catch. This biological magic requires presence. It demands proximity. Your brain cannot synchronize with a text message. It can't catch the frequency of a stranger's comment on a political post. When we substitute real presence with digital noise, we starve our biology of the very nourishment it evolved to require. In this stage of life, we must stop treating social connection as a spectator sport. Scrolling through other people's lives on a screen is a passive act. It is consumption, not connection. True social technology requires participation. To keep your mind sharp, your heart healthy, and your spirit resilient, you must actively step into spaces where your wisdom meets another person's energy. You have to put yourself in environments where heartbeats can align. Let's look at the blueprint to build those exact environments. To overcome isolation, we cannot rely on random chance. We must rely on design. We need what I call the architecture of connection. This isn't about collecting 100 casual acquaintances or filling your schedule with empty noise. It is about establishing 4 distinct structural pillars that hold up the house of your second act. The first pillar is mentorship. In our youth, we look for guides. In our elderhood, we become the guides. Mentorship is the act of passing your hard-won skills, your professional insights, or your life lessons down to a younger generation. It transforms your past struggles into someone else's current roadmap. The second pillar is learning. True vitality requires us to occasionally step into a room and be the beginner again. Joining a class, picking up an instrument, or mastering a new craft forces you into proximity with other curious minds. You aren't just gaining a skill, you are entering a community of shared growth. The third pillar is play. We often forget that joy is a biological necessity. Play is any activity where the only goal is the experience itself. Whether it's the quiet strategy of a chess club, the camaraderie of a bowling league, or jamming with local musicians, play breaks down barriers and builds effortless bonds. The fourth and final pillar is service. Stoic philosophy constantly reminds us that human beings are made for cooperation. When we direct our focus outward,
By volunteering, helping a neighbor, or contributing to a local cause, loneliness vanishes. Why? Because service restores your utility. It reminds you that your presence on this earth is not just valued, it is deeply needed. When you align your weekly routine with these 4 points, mentorship, learning, play, and service, your social ecosystem becomes completely self-sustaining. You stop waiting to be invited, and you start building the table. Look at your current week. Which of these 4 quadrants has been left empty? If your compass has been spinning aimlessly, it is likely because one of these pillars has collapsed. By consciously rebuilding them, you aren't just passing time. You are seasoning the stories of the next generation with your own presence. Let's look at how to take the very first step toward balancing your compass.
Knowledge without application is just intellectual entertainment. We can analyze the biology of isolation and map out the architecture of connection all day, but your life will not change until you move your feet. Stoic wisdom teaches us that the best time to act is always right now. We cannot afford to leave our future to someday, because someday is a map that leads to nowhere. So, here is your social compass challenge. I am giving you a deadline, 48 hours. Within the next 2 days, you must execute one single act of analog connection. Do not send a text message. Do not leave a casual comment on a post. I want you to pick up the phone and call an old friend you haven't spoken to in a year. Or walk across the street and introduce yourself to that neighbor. Better yet, look up a local class, a volunteer group, or a club in your area and sign up. One deliberate action. That is all it takes to break the spell of isolation. When you've done it, or even if you were just committing to it right now, drop a comment below. Tell this community, I am claiming my pillar. Let us know which quadrant you are filling this week, whether it's mentorship, learning, play, or service. By typing it out, you aren't just leaving a comment. You are signing a contract with your own future self. And you are building a sanctuary where other modern elders can find the courage to do the same. The clock is ticking. Let's see who is ready to navigate forward. We spent the first half of our lives building walls, protecting our careers, accumulating resources, and maintaining the frantic pace of the world. But the second act isn't about building walls. It's about building bridges. Isolation may be a quiet thief, but your inherent curiosity is an iron guard. You were never meant to walk this path in silence, and you were never meant to walk it alone. True wisdom is not something we hoard in isolation. It is something that must be seasoned in the presence of others. When you choose to step out of the digital shallows and reconnect with the analog world, you aren't just saving your own cognitive vitality. You are anchoring a lighthouse for everyone navigating behind you. I'm Duque Marino. Keep your curiosity sharp, keep your silver compass pointing north, and remember, the depth of your act is determined by the strength of your tribe. The journey truly begins now.